Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking
Bar, your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly.
Welcome back
To
another
another
week of your favorite podcast,
Bar Talking Bar.
I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And on my right,
To your right.
we have our VIP guest for this
VIP.
week. Steven Ferreira.
Gracias por la invitación.
AKA
Gracias.
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
People know you in
Yeah.
the underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
Steven, thank you so much for coming. We want to start by acknowledging also our listeners and by putting this thing right here. Be the person you want to work with.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, our work environment is very important as much as what we do as a profession. But
And
before,
the team players too.
yeah, you have to be a team player.
And before we go, please comment what you think about the podcast, what you think about the guests. If you want to see someone in special, send us tips. Or if you want to see Edgar doing pole dance, whatever, just comment. Please.
Pole dancing.
That was interesting. You showed
Yeah.
the preview.
I've done my fair share, you know.
That's good.
Not gonna lie. Thank you so much, Steven, for coming to the show. We know you're busy also, working and juggling
The
between jobs and
workaholic.
whatnot.
Guys, thank you so much. Gracias por la invitación, por tener tu tercer dominicano, or fourth, because
No, we have.
Megan Dorman is like honorary, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
The de lo mío has adopted her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's Mexican, she's Dominican,
Yeah.
she's everywhere.
Not anymore.
Everybody
We
loves
Megan.
Megan. She's been like doing amazing stuff with the community, with their bars, and especially hospitality.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start.
By the beginning.
By
The
beginning.
And the beginning.
Bro, do this to me right now.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
I know. Okay, let's be serious for 1 second.
This is a serious interview. We're not
Yes.
supposed to be laughing.
At all. Please.
Yeah, right.
No fun was had.
Drink some
Will
water.
be had.
Steven, this is the audience over there.
Oh, you guys do have people here.
Yeah.
You guys.
The audience, that's the people who clap every time we have
Everybody.
a guest.
You know,
Yes.
we have a couple of people here
Yeah.
cheering for you.
Shout out to you guys, man. You guys, thank you for the invitation. It's incredible.
Of course, we want to have you here because obviously you have, you're part of the industry. People knows you, but also some people don't. So
course.
we would love to hear from you. Who you
Yeah,
are,
of course.
Where you coming from? Where?
Yeah,
Who is Steven?
Who are you?
I know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Welcome, Steven. Welcome.
Thank you. Steven Ferreira. We're gonna do this both in English and Spanish, I imagine.
Yeah. Spanglish is good.
And
Also.
Spanglish is probably my main language. Pero, yeah, no. Nací y criado aquí en Nueva York, in Queens, out of Corona.
Shout out to Corona Queens, but I also, you know, I grew
Yes,
up in Corona
believe it or
Queens.
not, there are Dominicans outside of Uptown. It's not only Uptown; they are in Corona or when I grew up.
Yeah, I remember when I moved to New York, my first neighborhood was in Jackson Heights. And I remember people would say like, "Oh, that area currently is the Dominicans."
From 100th Street and Junction all the way to.
That's who like I grew up with, like my neighborhood.
Yeah, and I have to thank you because today I had my first chimi.
That was cool.
Yeah. Chimichurri, shout out to the chimichurri truck.
Chimichurris, baby.
Because I thought it was just the sauce. I was
No,
like,
of
"Oh,
course.
what is it?"
Yeah, for those that don't know, chimichurri is like our national sandwich, you know. Those that know, that know.
And I love the green tomato.
Of course, green tomate verde.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank
My
you
mom's
so
water
much.
gonna get.
course.
Leo sauce.
Yeah. He's some Dominican.
Yeah. Anyway, but coming back to you, so I like to ask our guests like who you are because
course.
obviously you're a person outside of the bar industry. So you were born and raised in Jackson Heights. I mean, Corona. How's your childhood?
It was cool. I have four sisters, and I have a brother, so it was really cool. Very interesting. I grew up in Corona, behind Louis Armstrong, the jazz musician.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Behind his house. I grew up behind his house.
wow.
Yeah, like on the second floor balcony.
Did you know who was it?
You took the question out of my mouth. I was
Yeah,
gonna
of
ask you.
course. Yeah, I had no idea. I appreciate it now. I wish I still lived there, or at least, yeah, I wish I still lived there because they still play. Pero yo no lo conocía antes. Yo me sentaba ahí y escuchaba la orquesta, and my father knew who he was, I imagine, and qué sé yo. I was sitting in the balcony. I was like, oh my God, trumpets, saxophone. Pero qué sabía yo de Louis Armstrong? In my adulthood, but Corona was cool, man. Growing up, it was Dominican. It was plus everything else because Queens is so diverse. So yo me crié entre eso, and it was cool growing up. The last thing I thought I was ever gonna do was bartend, but in the house, hospitality was number one, right? Los invitados, lo que viene en la casa, la comida.
Comida.
Olvídalo, that's all what it was. And
El ron.
bueno, yo era, tal vez, maybe.
Los papás, los papás, los papás.
Ellos tomaban.
Yeah, but I feel like, like when we talk about Dominicans in New York City, like you say, right, it's not just uptown. And I guess in uptown or like anywhere else, Jackson Heights is like super diverse. That I feel like even if your roots are Dominican or Mexicans, is like influenced by everybody else outside.
It is.
So I guess like going, for example, in Harlem or like uptown, when Dominicans are, I always see Dominicans, right? But I think also like the times I've been in Jackson Heights or Corona and seeing Dominicans is also like surrounded by tacos, by Ecuadorians, like all that stuff. So how was for you like knowing that, oh, my house is this, but also outside is all of these?
I always say when I try to tell people, well, who I am, it's always I'm a Queens kid. Yo los raíces míos, los padres son de allá. Me alegro la cultura, ellos siempre me la dieron, which is incredible, and I'm very grateful, very grateful. But I'm a Queens kid. Yo me crié, el vecino mío, one of my best friends, today, Mexican, then Ecuadorian, and alrededor, it was just like everything. And you don't think of that when you're growing up, and I'm grateful for that experience. Very grateful. Porque tan diferente que éramos, jovencitos, pero hoy igualado, and it was really special.
But I think when you're young, you don't really think about that, right? Because you only think he's another friend. Up until you start thinking about, oh, he's Mexican, he's Dominican, he's Ecuadorian, he's Colombian. Like he's from he probably was born here, but they're like the parents come from a different place, probably Europe. But the fact that you're growing up and mingling with these communities helps you diversify.
Super special, man.
Right?
Yo soy grateful doesn't reflect on how I feel growing up, because you see the world today and you're like.
And I also feel like for you it should be also like a different experience for us. For example, I came to the States when I was 24. I was already an adult. And in my head it was always like, Mexican, but not thinking about I'm Mexican, right? And when I moved here, it's like all the situations and the labels and everything makes you think about like, oh, I'm Mexican. And I'm Mexican because of this, right? And then you start seeing other cultures or other ethnicities, and it's like there's like this, I don't know, this area that is only Colombians. This area where it's all, because the community is always like trying to be part of, right?
Yeah.
And for you, my question would be like, you've been raised here and living with this situation. I feel like going to school also, like learning how Colombians speak, how Mexicans speak, the slang and everything, that also builds you a lot of like skills. Like right now, for like in hospitality, you can deal with different situations.
Thank goodness.
Right?
And
It's like speaking different languages.
yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, you still deal with a lot of how different you are. Porque hasta yo mismo, my parents came to this, or more, my parents came to this country con una visión para adelantar su vida, right? So a mí, yo aprendí el español primero. So, y el inglés lo aprendí en la escuela. But I remember growing up, my Spanish wasn't even Dominican enough. When I hang around all the other Dominicans, I'm like, oh man, yeah, la I or la R's. The way I was taught was to kind of Americanize, and it was, and then you start learning that esos retos, and you start figuring out, okay, identity, right? It's all about identity and figuring out who you are within your own community, and to say, I'd imagine uno regresa a nuestro país and it's all just Mexican, Dominican, Colombian, nobody, and you see that. So it's really interesting with growing up here, and I'm sensitive to that. You got to open your eyes. You got to be mindful of your surroundings, and identity is huge.
And I also believe that builds your identity as Steven, but also I feel like how is going? Obviously, you went to school, to high school, and everything. But what was the moment that you said like, I'm gonna be a doctor, or I'm gonna be, I don't know, like accountant or wherever? But then you jump into hospitality.
Oh Lord, I was going to go into child development. That was my original thought, or what I thought life was going to be like for me, how I was going to make money, or help, to be honest. That's where I wanted to. Child development was something that was important just because it's close to my family, and I wanted to see how I can help. So psychology was the way I wanted to go into, specifically child development. And I was an after-school counselor before I did all this and going to school. And I was like, what? How do you make money? That's pretty much it. I started in Boulder Creek Steakhouse. You ever go to Boulder Creek Steakhouse in Whitestone?
No, I don't know.
No.
Isn't it in Washington Heights?
It was in Whitestone.
Oh, Whitestone. Okay.
Good time by the BJ's.
Oh, okay.
Boulder Creek. I started there in early in the 2009, was it? As a silverware roller. I rolled silverware by a potato oven.
Okay.
That was...
How old were you?
19.
19?
19. 19, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Were you still going to college, or were you?
Yeah, I was still going to school. I was going to school, doing the after-school program between both, figuring what life will be like. You're young. You don't know what's ahead of you. And I was making good money. But that was my interest to hospitality, as far as, what would later become us sitting here today, essentially.
And, so I feel like also we have a pressure when we're young, like 18, for example, in Latin America. Here, I think it's a little bit at 21 that you consider an adult. But at that age, we're still pretty young. Like, we're still like kids, right?
Right.
And that having that pressure of like, what are you gonna do with your life, right? And then you go to school and you think about like, well, I want to be a psychologist. I want to be a film producer. I want to be a veterinary, and but then you go and work as polisher or like dishwasher or co-check, and then you feel like, what am I doing, right? Like, I feel that pressure here is like, do I have to do something that I love, or do I have to do something that I need money for?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it crushes your dreams because you want to go to school.
The balance.
But then I feel like during these years, and we've been talking about it, like once you find hospitality, I feel also it's another career that fulfills you because you are putting yourself, doing something for someone else.
I agree. Yeah, I've always said, esta industria, it makes us, it brings a lot of people of a certain character together. It brings a lot of people together, but I think those that stay, nosotros tenemos algo muy común, es buscando comunidad. Y algo que nos faltaba por un medio, and it brings us together, and I agree. We have that sense of hospitality and to keep on going. Do I wish I would have kept going with child development? Absolutely. But I enjoy the idea of what hospitality brings us, which is really cool.
And you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I think most of the time, whenever whoever works in hospitality, I feel like you find that missing part of connecting with people. So when you work either back of the house, front of the house, when you're back of the house, you have a group of friends. You know, working, but you're also chatting and playing around. You know, having a good time. If you're in the front of the house, you're also doing that. You know, pre-service. You're like hanging around, talking about this, that, whatever your day went, and then during service, you do part of what you're supposed to be doing. But I think like that's what sometimes people is missing, because if you're like at home working from home, you have no interaction. Especially if you work an entire week, you stay home. The only person you connecting with is probably your emails. They're not even a person,
Of course.
But I mean, what I'm trying to say is like that connection that you actually miss is social life, right?
Yeah.
And we socialize a lot. I think that's what makes her like outgoing.
Absolutely.
And and however the path takes you in hospitality, because you can start, like you say, like folding silverware.
Of course.
And then you move your way up until you are now here. But yeah, and then what happened after that?
The polishing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was like, man, where am I? What year was it? But no, yeah. Absolutely. To your point, shout out to everybody who does, work behind the desk. And listen, it's everybody's different.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Shout out to them. After you move up, I started, moving up through the ranks. Server assistant to server. Hadn't started bartending yet, and but I remember just watching the bartender. Man, it was busy bar. We had a big old blender, one of those blenders. The Island Oasis, making Red Devils and whatever it was. But I just remember seeing it like, wow, that's really cool, man. As we all do, right? You're behind the piece of wood and you're just looking at the bartender. But I remember going, I knew that I wasn't gonna move up. Very specifically, in the restaurant or this restaurant, I wasn't gonna move up to past the server. So I was offered an opportunity.
I just want to ask you that because I feel like sometimes in our life we go to those places and phases that it's like you want to move on, but it's something that what was that for you?
Yeah,
Like what was the place that they didn't leave you?
I just feel beyond the place was crazy. I can't even explain what the time that Boulder Creek was a great place, but it had its messes that would never be cleaned up, and I recognized that. And I think I said it was a combination of being offered an opportunity and me realizing that, right? So it was like I looked around, you look around, you go, okay, this is it. This is you gave what you could have given, and again, the opportunity. Somebody offered me, one of my best friends today, offered me to go to the airport. It was JFK. It was just another steakhouse. So I was like, sure, absolutely. And went over to what's called Bobby Van's. It was a franchise. If you guys ever been to the steakhouse, Bobby Van's in the city, there was one in the airport. Different animal. It was still, la chaqueta, the apron, todo eso. But imagine just fast paced.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a rush.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Everybody's trying to catch a flight.
Everybody's in a rush, and that was
last minute.
That was an experience. Yeah, but yeah, and then I took that opportunity, and
You were a bartender or server?
not yet. I got the job as a server, and learned even more because they still want to do fine dining experience. So again, fine dining and that. Oh, that was, I'll tell you, one of the greatest lessons. I'm grateful for that too. Because it's managing time. It's managing time. It's managing experiences. It's managing your money. Because we all kept our tips. Also, that was a good time.
Okay.
What a time.
So it wasn't a pool service.
It was not.
I'd never worked in that system. So
It was
it's
not.
Kinda...
You make your own money, and it gives you a different perspective because uno puede servir en la mesa y asegura que el dinero que tú vas a sacar de ahí va a ser tuyo, en vez de que otra persona no te la cuide bien, o sea, forgets that glass. You're always on point. You always gotta make sure. Not everybody is, but you make sure you make your money. Oh, what a time.
Yeah.
And by that time you were still at school?
I was still going to I was still going to school. Yeah, because I was still going to school. Correct. Still balancing between that and school.
And how was for you that experience? Because I feel like, when you work, only work is, you focus on that. But going to school, I think is, thinking about different classes, different
grades
essays,
and-
different grades, obviously.
Homework.
Homework and your
sleeping.
life outside of school and work. Yeah, it was a lot. I was still going to school full time. I was going to John Jay University. Good times. I was trying to join a fraternity. Never made it. But that was cool. Even that taught me a different experience. It was how to network. And so it was always go meet this person, go meet that person. I'm not very social. I'll tell you. Despite what many people might think.
What?
Yo soy
Yeah.
medio tímido.
Right.
Yo soy medio tímido. So that lesson, in school, I ran for school council vice president. What?
Yeah.
I didn't think. I had a whole campaign for me, Ferreira. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my slogan. That was my slogan. That was my.
Mr. Secrets.
Yeah, I ran for school vice president and going and working in the airport. That was exciting.
Wow, that's a good. Now that you mentioned that, those must have been like great memories.
Yeah.
Trying to run for something and while working, the job is.
Back and forth.
Because also when you're young, you have big dreams, right? And you have also, I noticed also like when you're young, you're less afraid of things.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're afraid of things, but you're more like willing to
I'll
do
do
it. Right now, if someone tells me to do something, I will like, oh no.
Let me check my schedule.
Yeah.
Let me see my knee going.
Yeah.
My knee is all right. Is that cracking?
You want me to jump off of where? No.
And how long do you work at the airport?
So I spent 7 years. I'm so this in the airport bar. I wound up becoming the head bartender. And ran that. So 7 years. I ran that bar for 5 years. So I moved up fast. It was, and where I kind of met my first bar dad. And this place wasn't cocktails. Like, I just want to paint this picture.
It's one-on-ones.
It was a lot of. There was a menu. When I got the bar, there was always a menu, but it was very steakhouse classics. The martinis, the glasses of wine, and I remember. The bartender at the time, he wanted to put, because European style, glasses of wine, and it makes sense, right? You're in the airport. Al momento que tú entras a esa puerta, ya tú estás atrasado, porque ya, So I remember it was very wine heavy, small cocktails, and then here's this young hungry bartender makes a cocktail menu. When I started squeezing fresh juice in this bar. Within a couple of years, and now we had a fresh juice program. Made a cocktail, old fashions, Cosmos. I put a Mai Tai on the menu. But I was proud. I was, again, back to your point. I was young, ambitious, and
Let's do this.
you know what? Guess what?
You want to see your capabilities too.
Yeah, but I had still not worked in any kind of. I just read, saw. The internet. I did my own research. This is where I met. I met Del DeGraw for the first time in that bar.
Really?
That was really cool. I met so many.
Did you know who was it?
I did. So backtracking, the reason why I kind of got into all this cocktail stuff was because one day somebody walked in with a book of liquid intelligence. I won't forget. I'm opening the bar. We open at 7 a.m. 6 a.m.
What?
We open at 6 a.m. First bartender is at 7 to open the bar to serve alcohol at 8. Wild times.
And people drink at
Are you
8
kidding me? Oh, there's no time in the airport. There's no. Hey, la hora no existe. You kidding me?
It's 9 o'clock somewhere else.
What?
9 p.m.
It's 5 p.m. somewhere.
3 martinis by 9:30. But nah, I see this guy, big hair. I'm like, who is this guy? He walks in and setting up the bar. Almost, I still don't know much about the world. Again, we're all bartenders, right? We just don't think about what exists or until you don't know until you know. He comes in, he sits down and he's reading his book, and I'm like, oh, what are you reading? Starting conversation. Liquid Intelligence, 2014, and I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. What is it about? He goes,
Liquid
yeah. I'm like, great, man. So, and it wound up being Otis Florence from he came to New York to open Pouring Ribbons, R.I.P. But I'm like, what is? And I Google, what is this stuff? Blah blah. I find out who Dave Arnold is, and boom! Oh my God! Now I want more cocktails. Now I want more cocktails, and this is what opened my world to what this, what we know.
Because also I feel like if we're talking about like, let's say 10, 15 years ago, it was another period of time like we didn't have enough, and we mentioned in a couple of episodes that we didn't have enough information. So whatever you had on hand is like something new for you. And then especially if you're a hungry, bartender or like people in the hospitality, you want to know about it. And then you start reading about like, I don't know, like chemics and chemistry and I don't know, things like that. I think it blows your mind. Like, I want to do this, right?
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, I think also your surroundings. If you're surrounded by a lot of bartenders, you have this bartender who's doing something. You have a bartender who's like doing an infusion, fat wash, who's doing a pop up, and believe it or not, you see it from outside, but I want to do that too. So I mean, you reading seeing that book, and then your curiosity started, and then you wanted to know more about it, and probably getting more books and getting more information.
I was still running the bar at the airport, meeting. This is another story too. I'll never forget that. This is so embarrassing. Erin Reese comes into the bar, and I don't know where Erin Reese is at. It was early. She's still the head bartender at Death & Co. And then
shout out to Erin, by the way.
Shout out. I brought this story up to Erin, and I don't know if she'll remember.
One of my greatest mentors, honestly.
I want to bring this up. And she walks in. We're busy. She walks into this bar. Chill. She sits there. It's like B10 or B9. I remember because it's in front of my well. And I'm rocking. You ask questions, and then she goes, "Yeah, I'm a bartender as well." She didn't straight out ask. I pulled it out of her somehow. And then she goes, "Yeah, I work at a place called Death & Co." I was like, "Is that one of those cocktail bars?" And I was like, and I will never forget. She goes, "Yeah, it's one of those, But the way I asked, it was not funny, and I should have been nicer about it. And then
so you were like mentioning like Death & Co was like pretentious or something?
The way I said it was like, but
it's like we're here in the
are
airport.
You kidding me? But exactly, but she's dope, and I always want to I want to put my foot in my mouth every single time I think about it. I'm like, oh my God. But meeting that and then seeing what Death & Co was, and then Dutch Kills is my first cocktail bar in 2013.
Working?
No.
Or visiting?
Visiting.
Okay.
So I walk in and I'm like, whoa.
Is this one of those bars?
Well, exactly. But I was busy. It was rocking. And
it's a small space.
It's tiny.
It doesn't
and it
seem
still gets places.
I imagine.
Shout out to Kilgore, who runs it now. Man, he's doing a great job. But I remember walking in, I'm like, it's my coworkers took me on because they know I started getting into cocktails. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Yo, there's this really cool bar in Long Island City. You should come." We all go, and it's just, and I'm like, I smell that cocktail bar smell. It's a combination of like syrup and rum and a little bit of gin and
pineapple in the air.
Yeah,
it's the fresh.
I walk in and I'm just like, and the Dutch Kills again. There's no windows, and I walk in and I'm like, what is? I walk and then I keep going. It's dark, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I get to the bar and I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
That was the first moment I said, because it was the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it.
Yeah, I had a similar experience when I went to Dutch Kills the first time, because when I first walked in, the setup was a little bit similar to Little
Branch?
Little what?
Little Branch?
Little Branch, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the setup was like ice, and on top of the ice was like crushed ice.
Because they're all the same family.
Exactly.
Because they're all the same family, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I
all
didn't
come
know.
from that Sasha Petrosky.
Oh, okay.
Richard Bacata. I don't know if Richie was part of that, but Sasha
Yeah.
Petrosky.
But like the setup was very similar to me for me, seeing everything like right in there rather than seeing cheated bottles. It was just like everything was like you can see it. You can see them
Yeah.
watching. It was like
What? They make it fresh.
like
Yeah.
I had like this little meow 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 meow.
I don't know what
moment.
Demerara syrup was until I asked the bartender. I'm like, what is that? I'm just like, what is that?
No, and for me, like I remember that I don't even remember what bar, but it was like 20 cheaters, and I was like, how do they remember everything, right? But I didn't know that they have names in the back.
Yeah.
Most of
Like
the
Blacktail
Yeah.
and
The Nomad had the same
Nomad.
situation too. I don't know,
like
or all the Nomad, like
Yeah.
Mr. Paradise, you know.
And
they
I
all-
thought also that every bottle was like botanicals and like weird stuff, but then also people use like their amaros or
Of
whatever
course,
they.
yeah, cheaters.
And then I was like, oh, that's what a cheater is.
It's
you know?
it's taking pride in your work and using a little bit more brain power. But
Because I mean, obviously, for whoever doesn't work in the industry and they don't understand how the bar works, like instead of like grabbing every single bottle, you have it here, and that's what you call
Correct.
cheating, right?
yeah, especially you like use a teaspoon, an ounce, half an ounce, or 3/4 of an ounce, like anything that is less than an ounce, it's always on a cheater bottle because it's easier to pick up and to pour rather than having a
Con el
entire
dedito, ¿sí?
300. Yeah. And also, like, people tell me, like, why do you use this finger for? Like, is it fancy? It's like, no, it's because you balance your hand when you pour it. I mean, folks watching on video, you can see that you leave your hand, like,
the bartender
exactly,
grip.
Exactly, bartender grip. There's other people, like, you can turn your wrist, but you put in the pressure on the wrist.
That
And you don't really want that.
mechanics, man. You
Yeah.
wanna bartend for a long time, and lo que nosotros no tenemos que hacer conscientemente es cuidar el cuerpo.
Yeah.
Pero like, a veces no lo sabemos porque cuando no nos entrenan, like, we don't have the right mentor. Because sometimes you learn, and like you learn as you go, like you mentioned, right? Like you learn as you're going, and then when you run into these people who like are at a different level, and then you also want to experience that, and you want to be part of it. Going back to what I said earlier, right? Like you surrounded with all these people that are like growing and learning. You also want to grow and learn. I mean, doesn't mean that you're not growing and learning, but like it's a different way of learning, because now you get to hang out with the bartenders who are doing these cool things, or who are like attending seminars and and like going to this bar. Like you can go bar hop just for the fact of learning what they're doing, tasting their cocktails. Because if you go to a Japanese restaurant or if you go to a Mexican restaurant, they both have different profiles and different approaches to things. So I think it's like day and night in terms of flavors, because the umami notes from the Japanese style, and also the shake, that like the methodical way of their work.
Special.
Yeah.
Can you do the Japanese shaker?
I think I tried the other day. I don't think it worked out.
or like,
Yeah.
or like my piece is wool.
I have this video of Sune from Angel Shared, like teaching. I think it was a monkey shoulder. The monkey clap. I forgot what it was called, but I replayed it and I'm like, how does my wrist?
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I like it because they're like very. It looks so cool.
Yeah, and
I mean, you have to learn.
But they
that
look.
shit, right?
They also make it look like easy.
it's method. I mean, it's there's a system to it, and shout out to the Japanese art, man. It's real.
Yeah, and I always say that it's the movement of the mechanics again. It's within the body, and it starts from the core. A lot of people think it's shaking on the hands.
Thank
like,
you.
It's the core, because the core is what engages, and the core is like you use the momentum of your body. You don't use your hands to like
Or your
shake.
or your
It's
legs
like,
or your shoulder.
exactly. It's just it's like. Also, you have to have a rhythm, because if there's no rhythm, there's no party.
Shout out to these two. 'Cause listen, if you've ever seen them two dance, it's incredible.
But it's funny because I mean, not funny, but it's very interesting. Like what you guys are mentioning, like how you train. Because I remember when I started like, doing some stuff in the bar, someone told me like, also you have to work on your posture, because you don't want to deal with your back, and so it's a lot of stuff that I feel like it's not necessarily they have to know, like us or like other people that are not in the industry, but it's very damaging. Your body
Oh my
gets
goodness.
damaged.
Not only on your upper body, because your upper body is always in movement. Your lower body too. You have to have the right shoes or the right surface to stand on, because standing for a long period of time for
No Converse.
I mean, you can use Converse, but don't stand on a.
I bartend in boots and docks. And
Yeah, I
love
bartend
it.
in
I
all those
love
too.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, Vans and Converse for me are like killing.
Yeah.
Like I will feel like my feet at the end of the night, like I want to kill someone because my pain is so bad.
I'm gonna romanticize bartending a little bit, but it's like people take so much time to go to school to become a doctor, to become a mechanic, to whatever the profession, to learn how to do their job better. We have to do. We got to do the same. You know, whether to shake,
And thank you for saying that.
whether to stand. It's you want to do this for a long time, or however long you want to do it for. But you also don't want to damage your body, and technique is fundamental.
Do you have someone that told you that, or like?
I was gonna talk about I've never had an official. I think I don't know if or our generation of bartending was. I'll be real with you. I always hear people talk, my mentor this, my mentor that. I can't say I've had so many people that I look up to. I have so many people, but I never had somebody go, this is how you do it, or more so every day, or look at me and go, I'm gonna teach you how to do everything better. I just had to watch. You observe. Have people like, oh, maybe you should do this instead. Maybe you should. Absolutely. I have a video of me shaking. Oh Lord. I'll show you guys later.
Like we were talking with Natalie Claros, like she was mentioning that she didn't know how to cut lemons, right? And those things that you feel like you're at home and you cut a lemon and that's it. But in this industry, like sometimes you don't want to damage the lemon or lime, and you don't want to waste it also. So you have to know how, but especially how to file your knife.
Yeah. Oh my Lord, sharp knife.
I mean, everything that really we use as a tool from our body.
Yeah, number one.
You have to make sure that it's functional for something, right? Like from the sharpness of the blade, from the peeler, because also if you don't know how to work a peeler, I've taken parts of my tips off.
Oh no, those are the worst. Oh shoot.
Like peelers, and I mean knives.
I just showed a scar that I have. Or those are listening.
Right here.
I just showed a scar that I have on my finger. Just a dull knife. Just.
Yeah, it's like those little details that we sometimes don't pay attention because, like you said, like if you don't have the right mentorship that in a way is teaching you how to do things or how to do it because they have gone through it. I feel like our part right now, like in my own perspective or my own opinion, will be like now when I see somebody, if I tell you, try to do it this way because this is gonna work for this reason, and rather than because sometimes people think, oh, he's like micromanaging me. I'm just letting you know that like I've caught myself doing this.
I have my own opinions.
Yeah. But if you see somebody who was like eager to learn and they want to learn, yes, of course, I'll teach you. Like I'll show you.
Yes.
But you have to pay attention.
Please please be open.
Yeah, exactly. Because
myself today, and I'm sure you too.
Because if you don't want to listen,
learn.
then
No, and I feel
you're wasting your time. Because I already know what I know.
Of course.
And I don't want to be so pretentious, but it takes you time to learn, to master it, to keep learning. If you want to teach somebody, if somebody wants to be taught, just be open to learn. Like be a canvas. And that's what happens nowadays with generations because they don't want to listen to. They think they know it all. They can watch a video on YouTube.
There it is.
And I'm an expert on this because I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the experience doesn't. You can read 20 books. Have you done it? No. It's like everything comes with experience, repetition, and it becomes muscle memory. Muscle memory is the entire body. The entire body knows how to move.
And the fact that people put like that mentality of like, I know everything or I don't want to listen to you, it's a fail in hospitality because you're not open to like also give yourself something for your job and your team that is going to make it better.
It's free school. Just listen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, don't make it so difficult.
I think the only investment is your outfits because you have to look presentable. The way you like to wear dress, that's one thing. But your own person, your personality first. And then, of course, invest your books, tools. If you want to travel, like to a convention out of state, do it. I will encourage every single new bartender who go and do it because you connect not only with other industry professionals, but you get to see other things that are happening outside from New York.
Oof.
You know, so the one thing I would recommend
So
is also the cocktails like, ooh, crazy, but it's great in
So
terms of networking. You'll meet people from all over the world. In New York, BCB, LA also. I think now they're doing Washington.
Quito has a cocktail week that's happening right now. That's pretty cool. Quito, Peru. Peru, I think it's happening or happened or is happening. So
Puerto Rico cocktail
Puerto
week.
Rico,
too.
Puerto
I love
Rico
Puerto
cocktail
Rico.
week.
I love Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the Dominican Republic?
Coming soon. Coming soon. Let's see.
You know, well, now this is one of the reasons. Thank you so much for touching this point. I think
You're
now
welcome.
what we're saying is like
That's why you guys
the,
back.
yeah, the cocktail world in New York is great, but also like thanks to a lot of bartenders who are here and in general, and like the De Lo Mio project which you guys started and all Dominicans in general, but also like who's there? You, Felix. I mean, I can name everyone, right?
There's
But, like,
a bunch of
what I'm trying to say, like, you guys are killing here in New York already, right? So what we need to see is the cross, pollination from the Dominican Republic to here, because we don't really hear a lot of like what's going on over there. But
Tell us.
Of
what is
course,
going
yeah.
but Ariel, he told us, he like, like this cross pollination, like there's things happening over there that people is not seeing. So in the coming years, I think something is gonna happen. There's gonna like just pop up. 50 best bars are, like Puerto Rico. What happened?
We just got a discovery. We have a 50 best discovery. Odette in La República Dominicana. It's on the discovery, right? That's huge.
It is huge. I feel like and I also, I want to thank you because one of the reasons that I want to talk to you as well is because, we really have the history of Latinos in the bar industry, but I think the Dominicans were like not seen a lot. And I think when I saw the party last year at De Lo Mio,
Where?
the Irving
Okay.
after BCB and during it was in BCB, right? Last
It was
year?
the first time.
And see all these names and not just men but also women like Natasita and
I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps.
it was
representation.
It's representation, but it's also very important because I feel like every culture bring a lot, and the fact that you guys now on the map, it's a lot. Like we're gonna talk about a little
Of
bit
course,
about it.
yeah,
But,
of course.
like for me, for example, the first time I hear like
A shot of whiskey.
obviously rum, but mamajuana, I was like, what is that, right? And then you hear the stories about mamajuana is because it's this kind of thing that has herbs and the sticks and whatever, but it's for men because they want to be much
Strong. But why don't you tell us a little bit about mamajuana so our folks watching or listening can understand more what mamajuana
Lo
is.
que existe la mamajuana es bien casero. So it's homemade. Mamajuana existed years ago. The idea comes from the ancestral, the people from the island, Los Taínos, who no longer exist today because of just the world, right? Early 1400s, even before that. So they created a tea using herbs, roots that they planted themselves and grew. So that's where that tea came from. Years later, through the evolution of fermentation and those through the transatlantic slave, everybody, the slaves that came from Africa into the yard, and we learned distillation, we learned fermentation, and now we fast forward towards like the mid 1900s. Now we had rum. So again, remember this combination of what is sticks, herbs, bejuco de Brazil, canelilla, uña de gato. They all African, so African chew stick, Brazil wood. These things are all that go into what the process is making. And you add rum, you add wine, you add honey, or you add rum and honey, or wine and honey, or all three. Or there's always the components always going to have the honey. So every family makes it differently.
But so the first time someone explained me or like show me, it's like an empty bottle filled with like all the herbs, botanicals, and everything. It has liquid in it. It's just the
Uno lo cura con vino. So you take that, you make sure you run it through, you let it sit with wine, So you could take out all those like kind of heavy tannic notes. You drain that wine, and then you add the combination of a lot of people just add rum and honey and leave the wine. But recipes different. All recipes are different. So excuse me. So then you add the rum, wine, honey, and you let it sit. Some people yesterday I had somebody come over. I have a bunch of bottles laid out on my kitchen table. It's crazy. And they go, "Oh my God, what are you making?" I'm like, they don't know what I'm working on, and they're like, "Oh, it's mamajuana." And they go, "Wow, I have a bottle at home that's been sitting there for 30 years." People will let this sit for however long. So, and the time, up to you. My uncle, he drinks it, just fills it back up. It's Solera. Yeah, just Solera process. So that, in its essence, that's what it is. So it's a liqueur that we pretty much make, essentially just homemade.
And and what's the starting rum? Is it white rum or is it like an aged rum?
We use what's available, right? So it's always what's available. Whether it's you want to use white rum or you want to use aged rum. Brugal is usually kind of the first grab, un añejo, or an aged rum. Brugal will be the first grab. So, but again, whatever you have on hand. It's really, it's so homemade and so, I don't want, saying that there's not much thought behind it is the wrong word to say, but it's just very just easy. Dominicans are so easy.
But with soul.
Yeah, it's just like, oye, ponme una copa de ron ahí, una mamajuana, la musiquita.
The Anthony Santos.
That's it.
Pero ¿sabes qué?
¿Cuál?
I'm gonna put this up because first God and then Anthony Santos. We learned this from Rudy.
Oh my Lord. Hey man.
So obviously we're gonna talk about this little bottle here.
Of course.
But before we do that, I wanna go back a little bit
Yeah,
because
of course.
obviously for you to doing this
Yeah.
and your passion
my
about
Lord.
everything, we still
we're years away.
yeah, but we still have, that person that it was working at an airport, fall in love with the industry, going to Dutch Hills. So after the airport, where you went?
I've always had 2 jobs. It's wild to me at that point. I started doing some competitions. That's what I started doing.
Okay.
I started competing. I used to do a Bloody Mary competition that later turned into like a cocktail hot sauce competition. And that was that was nerve-wracking. So I was like, this is how I'm gonna meet people. It wasn't on purpose. I can't tell you then. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. But I started doing them. It was really fun. All my childhood friends would come out, and I would do the Bloody Mary competition. I won't ever forget this memory. It's in Astoria. I met Jenna Lane. Shout out Jenna Lane from the Irving. And I won second place. All I did was win second place. And I had like 30 of my childhood friends, and it was really cool. I love that energy, the adrenaline. It was 90 seconds also to make a cocktail. Oh my Lord. We can make 5 cocktails, probably in 90, or I'm exaggerating, maybe like 3 cocktails in 90 seconds. But when everybody's just cheering you on, there's this level of adrenaline. So I was like, I fell in love with that. Started going, and I meet Doug Brickell. He ran a bar in Long Island. I will say this to the end. He brought cocktail culture to Long Island. Shout out to Cork and Carey and the rest of the team, because I was one of the best bars that I think I've ever had the pleasure of being behind. It was a neighborhood joint. Neighborhood joint.
What's the name of the
cocktail. We had due to trademark infringement. We had to rename it C&K.
Okay.
Yeah, C&K Long Island. C&K Long Island. Delta Groff was a good friend of the bar because he used to live in Long Island, and I didn't meet him then, but it was really cool. So I was in the airport between there and Cork there, C&K, and creating cocktails, learning more, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do as far as like cocktailing. We had so much freedom. I would create so many cocktails, and in this time was where I started even competing with the major brands. One being with liquor.com. So now we're in 2019. I'm still doing both. C&K.
And then that competition, what did you do?
I won this competition, and I flew out to Ireland, and I met Steven Gonzalez, and we have matching tattoos. They took us out to Ireland for, I think it was like 4 or 5 days, and What a time.
Wow.
What a time. We represented the United States. That was the first, like, kind of, I was like, whoa, you can travel. Or I've traveled already. I did the Patron Hacienda
Okay.
in 2016. I was the first group. We were the first group to stay in La Hacienda.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was cool. But this was the first time I won something, and they were like, oh, shit, you can travel and do this shit for real? Unreal.
You know, the thing is, like, again, going to what level of bartender you want to acquire, right? Like, are you competing? Are you exposing yourself? Are you taking the chances that nobody else is taking? Even me, like, I haven't taken chances like as much as, because sometimes we're afraid of doing it. Like, I'm afraid of
Terrified.
Like, I'm afraid.
Terrified.
Yeah, I'm afraid of. I think what we are afraid of is like losing, right? Nobody wants to lose, but I feel like you win more by losing than winning sometimes, because you get experience, and the next time you might be the second, the third, or you might win. That you never know, right? It's all by chance, but also it's how prepared you are.
But also, I feel like in those competitions, obviously it's important for the person to win, but also I think if you don't win, just the fact that you're participating, if you expose yourself,
Exactly.
and you also network, and also you see yourself like, oh, maybe that's why I didn't win, because you see other people doing it, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that, and you learn.
Is that learning, man? You see why you didn't win, and you were able to like hack and crack some level of your brain and go, all right, because oh man, it's addicting. Once you win, it becomes addicting.
But and that's one of the things that I think I admire about you guys, is that if you go in to compete, I believe that you get mad at you, not at the other person. Like, you don't get jealous of other people. It's
No, it's not even
like,
that.
why didn't do this, right? Like, and then you challenge yourself for like the next competition to do it, and you learn from your mistakes.
You put so much into the ingredients. You spend so much time. Like, and money, because they're not buying you these. Before the brand ambassadors, we're on the ground. Oh, like today, I know so many homies that help you during the competitions. But then you had to buy your own ingredients. I have so much glassware in the house that I bought for competitions. I have just sets. It was nuts. You spend so much time, and I think that's where it is. You because losing is not the word. It's you just didn't make it. There's just so many people.
Learning.
There's just so many people
It's a
competing.
learning experience.
Do better. I guess that's it's very just.
But that's so cool that you got to like experience that, and then you see like, what bartender
Travel to another
you.
country. That was nuts. I didn't realize that was I knew that was a grand prize, but once you won, you're like, you woke up to that email, and you go like, congratulations, you're going to Ireland. Excuse me, And
I guess I have to practice my Gaelic.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm not even gonna try to. I don't know words, but speaking of Gaelic, in CNK is where I met my homie Mikey Rio, my best friend, and shout out to Mikey. He's probably waiting for me to just say his name the first time. He's like, yo, what's going?
Shout out to Mikey. Anywhere you are in the world, is he in the States or he's in?
He's here. He's here in New York. Yeah. Working at Swift.
If you see us, say hi.
Mm-hmm.
At Swift?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, you must. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So then when because I know that you were like, going through like the phases of bartending, competing, and also brand ambassador. Like, you were working for the
I was before the world went to crap. Before the world paused. We suffered the pandemic. So throughout that 2019, I was able to. It was a learning experience. I competed, and that's where I kind of dialed in learning how to do flavor, like really just how to manipulate flavor. In fact, in that year, I created the Mamajuana that would later to inspire this. It was a Woodford Reserve competition. Very cool. I got to represent New York and Kentucky. It was, and today to even say that story that was in that 2019. It's pretty cool. Just looking back at the history of just how I was able to put this liquid in front of judges. I got approached. It was February 2020.
Okay.
My first date of hire was February 1st, 2020. Ahí fue que yo, el primer día, dándole a concreto. Y duré un mes y 16 días.
Ta-da.
16 días.
How was your, sorry, but like the question was like, how did you get that job, or how was approached to you?
Mm-hmm. It was 2020, at the end of 2019, I had went to a USBG meeting at Analog. Y ahí fue que yo conocí a la marca por la primera vez, London Essence. Conocí y que luego fue el jefe mío, Joaquin Flaco Capellán, one of the Dominican, one of the greatest bosses I think I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Me introducí. He was like, yo, I'm a Dominican bartender. He goes, word, esto que lo otro. And it was January. I remember he texted me, he goes, yo, there's a positioning opening up. What do you think? And I was like, what? Brandon, we spend so much time bartending. These opportunities, when they show up like this, you're like, wow, what am I gonna, you're like wondering, like I make drinks for a living and now I'm gonna help sell stuff. So it was really it was weird to wrap my head around it. And I said yes. I was like, let me do it. I'm gonna take a chance. Back to that. You take chances.
And we're talking about London Essence, right?
Yeah.
But which people who doesn't know, it's a brand of like mixers.
For sure, London Essence is, while it's not distributed in the United States anymore, it's a carbonated mixer using essences, whether it's grapefruit, rosemary, elderflower, and bitter orange. Oof, I haven't said those words. It's so long. Wow. Wow.
Sponsor them.
Yeah, right. Come back. Wow. But it was a mixer brand that Flaco and I helped grow. I spent 4 years with the brand. We helped grow it, man, and I met so many homies.
And I believe you, because it was a point that we started seeing it everywhere.
You heard a company that owns?
I saw it in a lot of bars,
now. Yeah, so it was an experience that I said yes to. I had no idea what I was gonna get. Again, you say yes to these opportunities, and I'm a long-term person. I always do long-term jobs. I always try to make sure that I learn it and lo hago bien. And I wind up spending 4 years with the brand.
And during those times of like working with the brand, were you also working at bars?
Yeah, I again, 3 jobs at one time. When I said yes to London Essence, I had just got a new job. I finally left the airport earlier that year, winning doing the competitions. And when I was judged by Brooke Toscano. Brooke Toscano, who today runs the ladies. She was my judge. Michael Toscano.
Michael Toscano's wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to the both.
Absolutely.
The Brooks.
Michael Toscano was
the
the
Brooks.
brand.
The Toscanos.
Yeah, the Toscanos. The Brooks.
The Brooks.
Brooke was my judge. Michael was the brand ambassador for Woodford Reserve at the time. And Brooke was my judge. And she was... One thing didn't have to do with the other, which is I'm very grateful. She helped. She was impressed by the way I presented my cocktail, and then a position opened up at Pouring Ribbons, and I applied.
Yeah.
I actually was wearing this shirt when I interviewed. I always say this. I was wearing this shirt.
Who interviewed you?
It was Brooke and Joaquin Simó.
Okay.
I think it was one of the first times I ever met Joaquin. And all I would do is read about him, right? Like, at the time it was just heavy Death & Co. Before, Naked and Famous has always been the Naked and Famous.
Yeah.
But it was, it was more of him and Death & Co. and Pouring Ribbons. And now I meet him and I shake his hand. I'm like, and then I had an 1.5-hour interview.
Wow.
Talking about what?
Oh my goodness. I walked out of there and I was like, the most thorough interview. It was amazing.
It was your first bar talk. We're talking about interview.
Yeah, exactly. It was. What books do you read? And it was my favorite hospitality experience outside of hospitality. I still remember my answer. It was DMV. I was getting my license renewed or registration renewed, And the lady was so nice. And so, you ever go to the DMV and everybody just so angry?
Yes.
Yeah.
We both did it.
Yes.
That week, it was the week before, and the lady was so sweet and nice. I was just like, "You're awesome." And then that question, and I was like, "Easy," and I answered. And what else? There was so many other questions, but we sat for an hour and a half, and I remember walking out of there. I was like, "Wow,
Oh yeah.
these guys care.
Yeah.
They care about their employees, and I will hold that forever." Later that day, I get the email. Boom, we want to offer you the opportunity, but you have like a week. Brooke is like, "I need to train you fast. You have like a week and a half." I was like, I gotta leave the job that I run, the bar that I run, because I kept the one at Long Island, and I transitioned. So now fast forward, I now have London Essence, I have Pouring Ribbons, and I have C&K Long Island.
Wow.
And then
And it,
and then the world paused for a little bit. So then I just had, and we closed for 18 months at Pouring Ribbons. So all I had was C&K Long Island, and September I came back to London Essence end of 2020. So then I was running both of them.
And so we're gonna fast forward, and in terms of like working with in Puerto Ribbons with Joaquin Simó, obviously with Brooks, like what was the experience for you?
Oh, it was incredible. So it was the first time I was able to work at a bar that was very well known. So I was already just, am I good enough? Can I be part of this team? There were 50 best already before. 50 best was what it is today. Consistently on the tails lists. But I didn't know what that world was yet. I went in there just because I wanted to learn. And when I say this, it's not that I worked with incredible people my entire career, but those people made me feel so comfortable. Stephen Lewis, Brian Taj, Brooke Toscano. I was working with Aaron Cusick at the time, and so many people there. And I was like, oh wow, I can work with you. I mean, I'm cool enough. I'm good enough. Devin Kennedy, it was very cool to just be able to work with them. So it was very easy. And then Joaquin Simó, forget about it.
Yeah.
That man, he's a homie. He's a dope dude. To this day I could just reach out and he's just like, oh, we talk shit. And they always say something we always said to each other there. They always say never meet your heroes because they'll disappoint you. And I say Simó, by any stretch of the word, I don't want to romanticize it, but I'm gonna do a little bit. But he's Latino doing it.
Yeah, because before I knew it, like I thought he was like like white American.
He'll tell you.
But when I found out he was Ecuadorian,
Cuban and Ecuadorian,
Cuban Ecuadorian is like super cool in terms of like that relationship of like flavors. For me, bartending is all about flavors.
That man
right?
has a palate that I will never understand. His memory is unreal.
yeah. And that's one of the things that bartenders must have. It's memory. And I'm saying this because you learn a lot of different things. You have to multitask. Whereas serving, you have to grab a notepad and a pen. For our bartenders, sometimes it's just like boom, boom. And I'm saying it's like you have to memorize a lot of things. Because learning is about memorizing, but also repetition.
But I would remember asking him, Joaquin, do you know a recipe that, blah, 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 blah. I'll see him do this many times. He'll look up, he'll go, yeah. And I'm like, man.
Because I mean, obviously, besides your job, your passion, and everything, there's like also I feel like people have skills, right? Like people who draw, people who cooks, people who like. My skill, like I really like to write, and I think I'm a good writer.
She's a good writer.
But those things, for example, like memorizing things that because you like that.
Oh man,
it's just impossible for me.
I wish I had memory.
I think we had this conversation earlier. Sometimes you don't use. We used this example earlier, the cocktail. When you have to learn your cocktail, I feel like it's important for you to learn the cocktails, even if you don't make them, because by the time that you are asked to make them, and it's like it comes to like who's teaching you, right? Because also if that person doesn't teach you the right chain, the right chain of knowledge, then you'll forget or you'll never know. So I think it's like important to know the
Discipline.
cocktails and then execute them. Because it's better to know them and then when you're ready to execute them.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like your confidence and like, you know,
There is none.
I've seen you. You know, working many years in all, like, you know, the airport and competitions, and now, you know, being a brand ambassador. Like, I feel like you have in you like, oh, I'm making it, right? But then you come to a bar that, like you mentioned, like the names are met, then the nominations, the, you know, the discipline, everything. How do you feel working there?
It was such an honor. To this day, we're such a close team, which is something. And then I'll turn it over now to Brooke. Brooke did an amazing job at organizing that team. It was the first time I ever had a kind of that female kind of leadership. I grew up with I have 4 sisters. My older sisters, I love it. They're, you know, leaders in their own families, and it felt familiar, and I respected it. And it was really cool to see that and have that. It felt familiar, and so it wasn't anything that I had to. It just felt she created that discipline, right? So I will say that I owe that to her. So me being comfortable in that discipline, and you take and you learn that this is what it's gonna take to keep pouring ribbons going, right? It wasn't me like, oh no, I can do this better, or I think this can be done better. Oh, Brooke led a very good program where it was this, and people came in day after day after day, and even when we reopened, people showed out, you know, and tried to support the best way they could, and it was incredible.
And when did you leave the ribbons?
We closed in March of 2022. March 26th was the last official day of service. It was a Saturday of 2022. March 27th was our last party for the industry. Jesus. That was
Deplete inventory?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
They gave me so our last day of service was that Saturday. It was a line out the door. You couldn't throw a baseball hard enough. Place was packed. I've never seen it. And then we finished the night. I think it's like 5 a.m. We're like, all right, guys, tomorrow's the last day. Who's coming to bartend? Everybody is like, whew. Well, no, because we're already, you know, we were having a good time that Saturday.
Okay.
Many copitas of mezcal were served with friends. So I was like, you know what, guys, I'll do it. I'm gonna bring a blender. I'm gonna bring my Vitamix. Let's use the Vitamix in the back. I'm not gonna shake a single cocktail. Just set me up with a blending station. I'll do it. Trust me. Sure enough, I walked in that Sunday. Yo tenía la estación mía, all the fresh fruits, all the juice, all the crushed ice, all the ice, and I was making absinthe coladas.
Oh,
I was
wow.
making frozen jungle birds. I made a missionary's downfall. Man, I was doing everything. It was incredible.
Wow.
And depleted inventory.
That's good.
All the chartreuse. All the chartreuse.
Make it famous.
Yeah.
I said it.
Jeez. We did a frozen negative famous at one point. It was pretty tasty.
Nice.
It was delicious.
I love frozen drinks.
And then what happened after Puerto Rican?
So as in true fashion, my fashion, I got another job, which I kind of bled. So I was doing 3 jobs, again. And no, I was in the process. Sorry, my memory. I was in the process of leaving C&K Long Island, and I got Barbelli. Stephen Lewis was head bartender. So he was doing both, pouring ribbons and head bartender at Barbelli. He was like, "Yo, you want to do it?" I was like, "Sure." And I jumped in at Barbelli. Barbelli at the beginning or the middle. Yeah, the beginning.
And the beginning. In the beginning. In the beginning.
Somewhere around there, but
Yeah.
It all gets blurry at one point. But yeah, I went into Barbelli. What a time that was!
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's where.
I did Barbelli for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Now that I remember, that's where I met you.
At Barbelli?
Yes, because we went for Remy Martin after party.
Oh my goodness.
That's probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
With
Yeah.
Kyla Mata. This is a long time ago. El Pancho was still working behind the bar.
I think I remember that day.
Yeah, that was that day.
I remember that day.
El Pancho was there. And then Kyla was there.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyla invited me. I'm not sure if you were there. But yeah, this is when I met
haven't
you.
been to that.
Then we ran into each other actually in Orleans. But that's another story. And then continuing back to your
Yeah. We rolled pouring ribbons out, and now I have Barbelli in London Essence. So I was mostly working a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an experience. You know, you do the job. You know, you make it happen. And I'm just the kind of person I like learning. You know what the job is. So at this point, Barbelli, I'm going in as a bartender. In London Essence, I'm doing the BCBs, and I'm doing the first BCB when I was in Greenpoint. Learning, knocking on meeting so many people. It was that was when I met many people at Pouring Ribbons as a bartender, but it was the first time that now I have an expense budget.
Yeah.
I can go out to the bars and shake hands, like, hey, I'm such and such, blah blah blah. And it was cool. It was really nice. It was and I think is when the industry started doing the brand ambassador bartender. Maybe even before that, but where the bartender was the brand ambassador too. So it was really nice to be able to give you this bottle of carbonated mixer, and then like, yo, I'm also at such and such. Let me make you a drink. You know, that's where, and then I do free tastings there because I'm like, yo, how about you bring this to your bar?
Because I like Edgar mentioned, we made you tails. Then I see you around with London Essence, and then obviously at Barbelli, and eventually, I mean, I didn't see in other places, but eventually I see you here at Aftermath.
Yeah. It was a good time. I needed personal change. I needed a change of pace. I needed a change of scenery. Things were changing for me professionally. I'm working on a liquid project, and I need more time. So how can I do both, right? How can I make my schedule work for me? And Rudy, shout out to Aftermath and Rudy on the team.
Yeah. Aftermath in Beachwood, Queens.
Hell yeah.
Okay, check them out.
Always wanted to. I remember early on when it was just beer wax, I'm like, I wanted to pull a shift here, but there was no way to work in 5 bars at one time. So I was shuffling. I was just like, damn, do I want to do it? You know, Barbelli was such a dope concept. It was what we grew it to, all the miles that we put into that bar. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think it's time. So I went over with Aftermath and rocking it over there, man. And it brings me back to I've always done really well in neighborhood bars. So it's a different pace. It's not Manhattan, which is really cool. It's all the people, man. They come in right before they go home from work. The family member that can break away from their, or babysitter if they have one, or bring their child, because it's very, it's child friendly. We sit outside so Aftermath felt very comfortable to switch to, which is really cool.
And the cool part is like, we have the opportunity that one day we were driving and we saw you there. And we were like, Kiwi!
I'm putting out a chair and I'm like, was that Nudie?
Was that like crazy screaming out there?
Was that Nudie?
And then we came back to visit you, and then it was very interesting for me because, nowadays everywhere has a non-alcoholic, but for me, like, it has to be, I don't know, I'm very picky with flavors, but then I look at this and it's like orange Pathfinder, like, and I was Garibaldi with Pathfinder. And then you did it with like the blender and everything, and it was like, when I tasted it, I was like, oh my God.
Intentional, man.
It's so good. It's so freaking good.
Aftermath is the DNA, and I think I work in just bars, period, because maybe that's what attracts me. But the menu there, and as it has been in previous bars, is just so playful. It's like, it doesn't have to be, it's all the flavors, or that you want, orange, passion fruit, and then it has that beautiful Pathfinder.
Michael, we need more Pathfinder.
Yeah, actually, we finished the bottle.
There it is.
She finished a bottle, guys. 500.
And you take a few pieces of orange and you let the blender go, and out comes this frothy,
Yeah,
it's
lovely.
we're not reinventing the wheel. We all have had, hopefully you haven't, but Dante's Garibaldi.
Yeah.
But now we, tropicalize a little bit, add a little bit of passion fruit.
Yeah, that's super
so
good.
good.
And then we saw the other one that it's has Mamajuana.
Yes.
We were like,
The
Quisqueya Libre.
and then
It's
obviously
made with this. It's made with this little.
Absolutely,
we're
yeah.
gonna
And
talk
here
about
we
this
are,
baby.
man. Quisqueya is libre, thankfully, in real life, which is really dope. The native name to the Dominican Republic, but in homage to the island of Mamajuana and cola. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Mamajuana and cola. It's just easy to drink. It's spiced, and yeah, like you said, it brings it. Now we're back to the liquid project.
Liquid intelligence.
Yeah, here we are.
Full circle.
Yeah, I've been working on this Mamajuana now for a few years. The Mamajuana I created years ago has led to what now is what I'm working on is Mi Pana Mamajuana. So it is a Mamajuana that will exist and hopefully will be poured in your bar.
Yeah.
And
Why don't we pour here something?
yeah, absolutely. So it's again traditional. It's a finished product. It's gonna be tasty. It's gonna be flavorful. It's gonna be reminiscent of what Mamajuana is.
And for people who doesn't or haven't tried Mamajuana, what is the profile?
Yeah, no, of course. Imagine if you took so much of those beautiful, like kind of rich notes with honey and then herbs and roots, medicinal. It is not like any other product per se, but let's call it if you added more spices to Nonino, right?
I was gonna say,
Namaro.
If you added a bit more spices, a little bit more depth to your favorite, or not your favorite, but like Nonino, right? Like just to paint a picture through the screen.
So you used to like give a little hint, and I'm not comparing. Like it could be like a Nonino with a little bit of like yellow chartreuse.
Sure. Yeah,
Honey,
absolutely.
Botanical.
Correct. So you have that nice back of honey. You have those spices, the floral spices. There's anise as well in that mixture of Mamajuana. So you have those beautiful, like kind of bright fennel notes. And
it's like a nice rounded, velvety Amaro because it's not bitter. It's a well complex that it really coats them out.
and it keeps on going. Yeah.
I know. When I first tasted it, actually at Aftermath, I was like, wow, this is really good stuff.
Color. Oh, she said that we have to taste
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh. I was like, oh. Yeah, absolutely. She's speaking.
She's speaking to me in different languages.
But yeah,
we talk
so-
about this.
My beautiful unassorted cristaleria. The
No,
vintage.
that's good, that's good.
The vintage cristaleria.
Oh, those are yours.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. I'm sorry.
You thought these were yours?
I'm just I'm joking.
Hey, listen, it's unassorted and
Let me show the
absolutely.
right here to the camera.
So Mi Pana Mamajuana is the name. This is
Nice tire.
yeah, but coming soon.
Coming soon. Okay, guys, there you try it.
All right. Cheers.
I'm gonna smell it.
Yeah,
Put your finger like.
Yeah, you can try.
absolutely. The aroma is so special to me.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Kiwi.
Absolutely, guys. Thank
Kiwi,
you.
thank you so much for sharing
of
your
course.
story.
Thank you.
You wanna ask him another question? While I sip in this. You know what? I love the aroma because on the nose, it's like the light orange peel, orange zest, but the honey
That's that combination of orange, that.
and the mouth is like, that's what I was telling you, like it's velvety, and there's like a slight bitter note, but it's not bitter. So I would say,
it's a nice treat.
yeah,
Because it's my love letter to Mamajuana because
Wow,
if
this
you
is
ever
really good.
if you ever have somebody pull out a bottle of 30-year-old Mamajuana, it's gonna be bitter.
wow.
It's gonna be very bitter. This
It almost reminds me like a tonic-ish, like the sweet
The
tonic because it's not bitter.
It's versatile, it's beautiful, and it's my love letter to the island.
You know what? This in the spritz will be so good
Sure
for the
is.
summer.
A little bit of chinola.
Yes.
A little bit of chinola.
I was thinking about like just having this by itself with a little bit of club soda.
Oh yeah, absolutely, easy. And again, that's why it works so well with cola.
In so many ways, right? Like you can, as a bartender, my brain starts like thinking and like creating ideas. I can use this as a Manhattan variation or like an Adonis.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
You know, like an Adonis, like a low proof-ish. Like I can put a little bit.
And how the proof is.
Giving you some ideas, guys. If you guys want, whenever you guys can get
this sitting here is 24 proof. The ABV.
Yeah, yeah.
Low ABV, very tasty.
Adonis, boom, right there.
This is 24, and then
Como te llamas, Adonis?
That's it. Adonis. Oh my God, that's sick. Well, the other day we at Aftermath we're gonna start doing. Everybody knows what a spaghetti is.
Yes, beer and
A presidente and a shot of Mamajuana. Un espagueti.
Oh, spaghetti.
Un espagueti. It's pretty genius.
And I'm also happy that like you have the support with Rudy and
Yes.
Having this in the menu.
Yeah, he supports it, and again he's a gem, man. What he's doing and how he supports the community, and this is beyond the bottle. What he does, it's he deserves to be shouted out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like encompassing all this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
like remember that kid that was trying to be a psychologist, and now you're having this.
Mm-hmm.
You create your own product. You run
How do
your
you
own
feel?
bars.
I think about it a lot, more and more often than not, and I reflect a lot. I spend a lot of time reflecting because I'm lucky to have been just worked with the people that I have, from early on, from Doug and Joaquin and Brooke, Genesis. Shout out Genesis as well,
Hello, Mama.
and Federico. What she's done, what she did at Barbelli needs to be studied because that's another conversation.
We're gonna have her here
Yeah.
Yes,
to make that study.
We're gonna ask her all the questions. So
Absolutely.
people come learn from her and from you, of course, today.
Thank you. To now even collaborating with all the people that because you collaborate. At this point you join ideas to this. It's special. It's cool. It's possible, right? Every big dream starts with an idea, or vice versa. So it's special, but the important thing is to know the work isn't done yet, right? Because this is bigger than us. This is bigger than me. That somebody out there, how I looked up to, those people, there are other bartenders today looking at us now. So we got to make sure we're examples.
That's what I was gonna come. You looking up at Joaquin Simó, looking up to Joe Reiner, looking up to Aaron Reese sitting at the front of your bar. Now having a similar experience with you are gonna go sit at somebody's bar, and you're gonna go like you're gonna be a role model in a way, and you are. And this is why we're doing this podcast honestly, because we want all the young bartenders to learn and understand that this passion takes time. You have to build your personality. You have to build your education, which is one of the most important parts in this industry. And then you move to point A to point B to get some more miles, per se, and more experience. But at the end of the day, it's for this, right? Because you're doing it for a reason. Because you're not run a bar. If your goal is to run a bar, do it. Don't think about it. If your role is to be a brand ambassador, do it. If your role is, if you're doing it to create your own brand, your own mobile services, your own grotto, do it. I think the most important part is starting it.
Your own platform.
And go ahead and do it, right? Like, and tag along with the people who you want to learn from. Like, I think that's the most important part. Like, that's what I always say, right?
Yes, and also I feel like just to like kind of like wrapping up is that at the end of the day, this is an industry that it's built also for the community, but by the community, right? Because
Can't forget that.
even if you are a young bartender or like you guys, like old guys.
My knee brace. Listen,
I take my beer off. I shave.
But I will say that I really learned that this is a special industry because every single industry has their own community, doctors, whoever works in different industries. But I've seen many industries. I work in different industries, right?
Yeah, no.
Bartenders are like freaking cool. Not cool to be in Instagram, but in terms of like how you guys support each other. Like obviously it's been like a long path to have also rooting for like Latinos, having a big community of Latinos bartenders, running bars, being head bartender,
Moving
being
from the bar
beverage.
back, yeah.
And
Yeah.
nowadays we see that not just because you're Dominican, but also like creating the Lo Mio or like working with other Dominicans, but also other people supporting you guys because you bring something to the
And
table,
brands.
right?
And the brands that are actually like seeing that.
That stand behind us, yeah. At the end of the day, you gotta understand that it's why, right? It's answering the why. Why are we doing this? And it's good to see brands. How do I put this? Like, it's not that we're gonna elevate everything, but having the support of the brands, means a lot because now people go, wow, okay, this brand actually stands by them, and it's pretty, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And vice versa, brands gotta start looking at who to support, who their community is, not just, or think about their moral and philosophy, the morals and philosophies, and that's something I want to make sure that I continue to just be conscious about, even just creating this liquid. But to that point.
Yeah.
And do you have like a prox date to like it's gonna be released, or we're gonna wait a little bit?
Yeah, I gotta keep you guys in the dark a little bit.
Why don't you share your Instagram handle with us?
Of course.
So if they want to taste it without being out in the market
Absolutely.
yet, give them a taste. I think it's always important for us, the bartenders, to taste it. Even if they're not bartenders, they're trying to know what Mamajuana is. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my Instagram is @Kiwinigram, KIWI. If we have enough mutual friends, I'll pop up. But KIWINI.
We're gonna put it on it.
Gram. Oh, it's gonna be right. All right, yeah. And reach out, man.
Reach out and touch face.
my-
Dun, 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 dun.
Te entró el payaso a ti.
I love
Es la
it.
mamajuana.
I love it. That's it. Le subió la bilirrubina. No, man, I love to pass on knowledge. It's one of my most that's part of my skill.
Yeah.
I fuck gatekeeping. That's it. It's over.
All right.
It's over, and thankfully it's over because that's the now that we have this openness, I feel like we're also getting into a new generation, and it's like the pandemic generation. It's also learning to be out, and the new generation that is out, we have to be a community, not just the industry, but in general as a human beings. Because other than that, we're gonna be living in bubbles that separate us and don't let us see what life it is.
Correct.
And but yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was
thank you.
a beautiful and an amazing story.
For sure. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much
You guys
for
are doing an incredible job here. You guys, I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but whoever comes sits in the seat, hats off to you guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
You guys are doing an incredible job, and thank you for giving us a platform, a voice. It's our responsibility, man, and whether you want to own it or not, it's up to you.
Yeah.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
We work because we love to do this because we're very chismosos and gossipy. We like to. Now we really appreciate that you guys are open to share your personal stories, and we continue to say that is our duty now to have like the mentality of like no like como en el pasado, no?
Yeah.
Like not talking to each other or like gatekeeping or like you're gonna take my job, but also be friends.
Yeah,
we can be friends.
And underlining also that this show is called Bar Talking Bar because we talk about a lot of the bartending aspects that go around it, but we also we haven't had a chef, which we're gonna have in the future.
Excellent.
We're gonna have chefs, a dishwasher who has been dishwashing for 20 years.
Absolutely.
A boss boy who has been bossing for 20 years. Like everyone's story is very important. It doesn't matter what you do, how you did it, how you came here to the States, how like everyone has a different story, and I think like that's what we try to showcase in this podcast.
That we're humans.
Yeah, exactly. And the person here, the most important person here is sitting in that chair, in your chair, because your story, it's unique and it's yours, but somebody out there is gonna read it relating to it, and looking up to what you said earlier again and going back, when you started to where you are now, is night and day.
It's insane.
But it's something that you've never seen, and we seen it. I mean, because
sure.
you never see yourself.
Hey,
It's
exactly.
always people
On the
who's outside.
We're too close to the sun, and that's why you got to keep people around
But
you.
congrats, man. Congrats for what you're doing.
Yeah,
You said
happy for
thank
your
you.
product.
Thank-
And we're very proud of you as well to
Thank
be representing your land of your parents.
Yeah.
And,
Quisqueya.
and definitely this should be in any bar.
For sure.
And it's gonna be in our bar now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming again,
Thank
and
you.
we wish you the best.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we'll
Thank you,
see
Lily, for another episode.
Yep.
Kiwi. Papo.
Please don't forget to tip your bartenders or anybody
Your
in the
servers.
hospitality industry. And also on the screen, you're going to find our cell because we're taking donations to keep going with this podcast and, receiving your support. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you so much for, watching and listening on every platform. If you want to see all the episodes, you can go to our webpage.
www.bartalkingbar.nyc.com for more episodes like this.
And we're going to say goodbye saying Bar Talking Bar.
All right, on 3. This was... I was going.
Yeah, I was going. It was 3.
3, 2, 1. This was Bar Talking Bar.
Okay.
Do it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
to this
Okay.
camera.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1. This was Bar Talking Bar.
Guácate.
Guácate. Okay.
Vamos.
We're done.
Thank you for you.